kind of just like we can kind of just like figure it out as we go, you know?
Dude, send it, dude. Me and you just bullshitting for 40 minutes. Like, I'm so glad you're not one of those dudes that's like, here's my 20 questions or something. No, dude, just send it. It's two guys talking to the shop for 40 minutes, whatever.
See, yeah, and that's what I want to do. And for like a Friday evening, it's 7 o'clock. We've been busting our butt probably
Yeah,
all
dude.
week,
Yeah, this
and
is
I
like
just want.
the 12th call I've been on today, dude. That's why.
Hopefully, this is the only call though that you cracked a beer for. Are you cracking right now
Yeah.
or what?
Oh, dude, I'm up, dude. I'm up.
All right, what do you got? You
Yeah.
got UC right there? Is that Utica
No, dude,
Club?
this is no, dude. This is a fucking like West Coast, dude. So I'm out here in Washington right now. It's called Johnny
Uh,
Utah, dude. Yeah, it's some random
Johnny
shit.
Utah. That's sick.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Johnny Utah, dude. But yeah, dude, I'm excited. Like I said, dude, wherever you want to take this, bro, let's just take it and fucking send it. So
All right, let's send it. I do. So for those listening, I was just looking at Jesse's wrestling record. I love him. And I'll tell you right now, anybody who's a wrestler, I automatically gravitate to. I don't care if you didn't win one single match, right? But if you were in the wrestling room for a season, now granted, you know, I definitely love you no matter what. But if you were there for 4 years, right? If you went in the wrestling room and you practiced for 4 years, the level of respect I have for you goes through the roof.
yeah,
Do you agree?
yeah, no, dude, it's a sport that people like don't understand, dude. This sport. I mean, I was cutting 10, 15, 20 pounds to make, weight, for a season or whatever, dude. And like, I think today, so many kids are like, they can't imagine doing that, dude. Like kids in high school today can't
Right.
imagine like skipping Thanksgiving or skipping
Oh
like
my
Christmas
God.
dinner,
Right.
dude. Because that's the season, dude. That's the season runs straight through that. So,
What was the
but dude,
most you
I,
ever
I
cut?
agree.
Or
I was
sorry.
probably
Yeah, what was the most you ever cut?
yeah, probably like 20, 21 pounds and probably like
Jesus.
a not like a 2 day basis, but probably like over a week, 20, 21 pounds, dude. Like a lot of that's water weight. So you're in the sauna, dude. You're putting garbage bags on and you're running around, dude. And it's terrible, man. But it teaches you a lot about sacrifice, dude. Even that wrestling stuff, dude, it fed into my military career
Right.
and what I did as a ranger, dude, and being special operations and stuff like that, dude. If I hadn't built that mental piece there in that wrestling room for all those years, dude, there's no way I would have gone on to do half the cool shit I got to do. So
Oh God, I love you because it's so true. So I agree with that so much. Wrestling changed my life, and because how many times did you? I'll speak for myself. There was a few times where I was like, "Am I going to do this for the next like 2 3 years? Like, am I going to really want to do this again after next year?" Because I wasn't very good. I started wrestling like in seventh grade. I was on JV, and I was just strong. I was 96
yeah,
pounds. They needed a little guy. I fit that perfectly. Uh, and I was okay. I did pretty well. But my confidence was through the roof. I'm a fucking seventh grader on JV, right? And then eighth
yeah,
grader, they pulled me up to varsity, and I'm like going back and forth with another guy on the starting lineup. And I'm getting hammered. I'm getting hammered by like juniors who are fucking 103 pounders. I'm
yeah,
like, dude, grow up, would you? You're a junior. Can you get to 110, 112? You're at 103. What is wrong with you people? Um, so, but
yeah.
getting beat up and getting through and not getting pinned, that's how crazy it was. But if you were able to do that with some guys, if you were able to get through and not get pinned, but I'm talking, you were getting beat the hell up, but you were able to get to that final bell without, having a pin on your record right there. That was a win for you. And then there was a build of confidence. But, those little things, it's just like you don't think about them at the time. But do you know what I'm talking about? Like, did you ever feel like you're like, hey, if I could just get through this match, I'm talking about when you're getting beat up. Because I know we've
Yeah,
got beat up. But if I
yeah,
could just get through this match, I'll be okay. I just can't give 6 points to the other team, right?
yeah. I agree with all that, dude. And I would just add, like, I've been in those situations, and I think there's so many applicable lessons learned from my wrestling career to my real estate journey. Where like that first 6 months, dude, I'm just getting kicked in the face. We're submitting LOIs. We're getting laughed at, dude. We're driving hours to go view properties, and we're like, why did we drive all the way out here, dude? I mean, literally just getting kicked in the face, dude. And those people who can pick themselves up, dude, those wrestlers, those competitors who can see the long journey. And I have this discussion now with guys all the time. Like, you've got to take those beatings in the beginning to be dishing those later on. Because even
Ooh,
those dudes who are
yeah.
those dudes who are dishing
Yeah.
those beatings, dude, there was a time when they were getting their ass kicked too.
That's such a good point. You're so right. And guys, for those that don't know, this is Jesse Futia. He's a good buddy of mine. I was very honored to be on his show. He has one of the best new podcasts out right now. He is the creator of Wealth Science. He's the CEO of the Executive Equity Investing. He has a large portfolio of student housing, which I want to talk to him about very soon. He's got some new commercial deals he's doing. He's got some really cool stuff that he does. I love him because he's from upstate New York and he invests in upstate New York. And a lot of people shy away from that right, for solid reasons. And we're going to talk about that too. I will say this, and this is one thing that about Jesse. You know, he's a wrestler, which I love. Obviously, we're talking about that right now. But he is a former Army Ranger. And that's so fucking boss, in my opinion. I love that. But what I don't understand, and this is a joke, but what I don't understand is how you didn't know that Bob Dole was a part of the 10th Army Division. I was laughing at that. So Jesse, you got to. So I know you're on that podcast, and I did my research on you. So I was. So I'm sure this guy's a good guy. The Charlie Charles.
Dude, what is this guy's name again? I can picture him in my head.
He's a great guy, and
Uh,
I'm sure he's a boss. He's a
oh,
killer.
dude. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, dude. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't fucking know that, dude.
What the fuck? I go, who is? So I'm like, of course I know Bob Dole. I'm not a ding dong, but I'm like, why would anyone know that? I mean, where? I'm like, what's his TikTok? Well, we got Bobby Dole. Where's he at? Where's on his Instagram? It's like, oh, you mean the guy that like ran for president and didn't win, and it's just like a,
Yeah.
just different timelines with us and Charlie over at the Multifamily Investing Podcast or whatever. But great show, you guys. I mean, you tore it up there too, and I was just laughing. And here's my other thing. That was funny. I was like, was listening to it, and obviously I'm a fan of you and I'm a fan of the show. Well Science
Yeah.
guys, download it. It's a great show. You know I'm gonna I'm gonna go to another direction after this, but uh, the other funny thing was when you were talking about, you know, yeah, I went to Albany, and no one has gotten more credit to go to Albany than you did from this guy Charlie. You're like, yeah, I go to Albany. You're like, you know, it's a state school. And he's like, no, it's a great school. Stop the presses. Come on. I was like, no one has got more credit for
No,
going to
dude.
the Albany.
Dude, he thinks all SUNY Albany's in Ivy League somewhere or something like that, dude. I think we're thinking about two different Albany's here, Charlie. I appreciate that, bro.
No, I love that. But here's my question for you. So you're doing all this stuff, and we're going to talk about it. But what is your obsession with cryptocurrency, man? All these new episodes you're having, you're talking to Bitcoin guys. Are you doing it? What's the deal, bud? Tell me about it.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, it's just like I talk to everybody about it. I think it's the power of diversification when it comes into it. You know, dude, like even when I'm having conversations with other real estate dudes, it's like having all your eggs in one basket, dude. It's you know, again, 90% of my portfolio given is real estate, but still just having that 10%, dude, where you're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone and looking at other assets that are out there, dude. I mean, I'm intrigued by the crypto space and what it has to offer and the potential of where we're going right now in this country, dude, with inflation and the US dollar, dude, and who knows where we could be at a year, 5 years, 10 years from now, dude. So the only reason I bring that up, I love talking to dudes about it because I love talking diversification and what's the next big thing, dude. Even when I look at my real estate career, I'm trying to look 20 miles out, dude. I'm trying to see what's the next asset that people are looking at. Like, I think an example right now is campgrounds. Like 2, 3, 4 years ago, dude, I don't remember anyone talking about campgrounds. But I remember people talking about mobile home parks, but like mobile home parks were big, and then RV parks are getting big, dude. And now it's like campgrounds are flying off the shelves, dude. It's
Bro.
crazy. So I love looking at like 20 miles out, dude, and seeing like what potential is there. So I guess that's kind of the why and drive behind it.
No, and why I say that is because I am also very much invested in crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I mean, I'll
Nice.
tell you right now, it's just so much more interesting than real estate right now, in my opinion, because it's so new, and I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like there may be a way to get in early on something like this because we're not going to be able to necessarily compete with some of these guys and girls who are, have the funds already, these large REITs that are buying
Sure.
up, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the good mobile home parks, the good ones out there, those ones are getting torn up with people calling them up every day, right? And so,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with us. We can scrap and make it happen. I know we can. But these are the same people who don't even want to touch this stuff. They don't want to touch crypto. They don't want to know about it. I, on the other hand, and I think this is where beginners that are, hungry can win here because there is an opening for guys and girls like us who want to go and say, hey, this might be an avenue to have this life-changing wealth happen, and you might as well understand it because for me, Jesse, when I'm looking at something, I go, where are the smartest people in the room going?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and that's why you're having, and the people you're talking to on your shows, these are no dummies that are doing this stuff.
Dude, Jimmy Song, dude. If you don't know that dude, he the week after I interviewed him, he was on like CNBC talking
Oh,
with like
shit.
Senator Ted Cruz, dude. And Jimmy, if
Okay.
anyone doesn't know him, connect with him on Twitter. He has like 20,000 followers or something. Dude, he's my episode too. And he's a Bitcoin like world expert, dude. And I literally just DM'd him off LinkedIn and he came on the show and
That's
dropped
awesome.
absolute fire on Bitcoin. Yeah. For anyone that's interested in that, check out that episode. Jimmy's like world class, dude. But yeah, he's got a great mentality on it, dude. He's like, listen, there's a fixed supply of Bitcoin in the world, dude, and there's only increasing demand. What can only happen over the long term, dude? Price is going to go up. It's a safe investment or alternative investment that's decentralized. It's just amazing, dude. When
Yeah,
I look at the difference between centralized and decentralized, I mean, it just blows my mind. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I do. I'm, it's funny because I was just watching a video on the difference of like Coinbase, and
Yeah,
although that's what I use to buy and hold some of my crypto before I move it to my, MetaMask or to a cold wallet, is that it is centralized, and it is not, it's like the bank, really, because they can just close it off. If something were to happen, they can freeze those funds. So that's kind of scary. My other thought, though, when I hear that is I go, well, I'm pretty sure the funds, though, because it's a public company, they had to go through a lot of, crap to get to be a public company, especially in such a brand new world of business like a crypto exchange, because it's the only public crypto exchange. So I know they had to have all their, I's dotted and T's crossed. So I'm confident in them. But at the same time, I also believe that I need to start thinking, hey, you need to start moving this stuff to a more decentralized. So I've been messing around with Argent. I don't know if you're familiar with Argent, but I'm a fan of Argent Wallet. I'm a fan of, like I said, MetaMask because that's completely decentralized, or at least, you know, I think it's decentralized. I might be talking out of my ass here, but no, I'm becoming more aware of, the implications of like having your own keys, right? Making sure that you have your
yeah,
16 word, passwords and everything. But it's a lot, man. It took me probably, I mean, I started investing in 2017, but I didn't buy. My biggest regret is I never bought when it went from 20. So I was buying it at like 10, 9, 11, and then to 20, and then I stopped when it crashed. I didn't sell it, but I didn't buy any more. So I didn't buy it when it was at like, 800 or 1,000 at Bitcoin, right? I mean, Ethereum was at like $80 when I first started buying, but
yeah.
I didn't go too crazy. Um, but anyway, I'm a big fan of just the culture of it. So like crypto Twitter is really really interesting to me. I'm going to permissionless. It's a metaverse NFT DeFi meetup in Miami in May. So I'm looking forward to kind of figuring out how Jesse, how can I marry crypto and real estate, and how can I maybe tokenize some of my investments and some of that cool stuff. What are your thoughts with that kind of thing? And also I want to hear about your thoughts on, the decentralized and the centralized, and just just go into that for me because I'm curious.
Yeah, no, dude, I think you're bringing up so many great points. And like, I think, and again, the whole decentralized, centralized concept, dude, just blew my mind. And I had no idea about once I started doing the research on it, dude, when, in 1971, when we took the US dollar off the gold standard. And now for everyone out there who doesn't know, there's nothing that backs the US dollar. So many people don't understand that concept. And I'm very new to it, but I learned it. And it's like, dude, there's nothing that backs this. So it allows the government to now print as many US dollars as we want. And when you look at COVID and the pandemic, where we stimulated the economy with literally trillions of dollars, putting it into circulation, really what happened was we diluted the US dollar. And now we're seeing the longer term reciprocations of that, where inflation is now at 8.5%. And who knows, probably even higher. But that's what the government says, so that probably the world doesn't catch on fire. If they were to come out and say inflation's at 20%, it would be anarchy tomorrow. So, but who knows? Whatever. They're saying it's 8.5%. That's just the number they, made up or whatever. But to understand the difference between decentralized and centralized, it's like if I want to wire money from New York to California, I go to my bank, the bank wires the money goes from my bank up to the Federal Reserve. It spins around up there. They make sure it's not a scam or anything. They double check me, they double check the bank it's going to, and then they send it down to the other bank. Where when you transfer crypto from New York to California, it literally just goes from one enterprise to the other. There is no overarching government or banking system that oversees that, which I think is just the most powerful aspect of it. So many people don't understand. And what I'm really excited to see this about, and I've had conversations with several of my colleagues about it, it's like when you look at third world countries, Marty, that have weak banking systems and whatnot, crypto can be an amazing asset for that, because you don't need really any banks for crypto. You can transfer it, via credit card. You can transfer it from wallet to wallet, enterprise to enterprise, whatever. Like, this could be great to help those countries that don't have the strong, very hands-on banking systems that we see today. But to your point about real estate as well, I mean, I really think the tokenization of real estate is something that's on the horizon here. We're going to start seeing it, I think, this year, next year. It's going to become mainstream probably in the next 5 to 10 years. Who knows? But I think what the greatest aspect of that is that it's going to lower the barrier of entry to get into real estate, where right now, you have to, whatever, a minimum investment might be 25,000 or 50,000, US dollars, where if we could split a mobile home park up into, I'm just making this up, 10,000 tokens at 1,000 each, that would be really cool. And I think a lot more people would be able to gain the benefits of investing in real estate through tokenization.
Ooh, I love that.
What are your
You're
thoughts?
right, man. Well, you hit it on the head. I mean, let's unpack that for a second. So, I totally agree. Number one, it's going to allow more people to get involved in real estate that never thought they would. I mean, you got this gigantic budding community of crypto people, right? Who are gung ho into crypto. Let's get them into real estate, right?
Yeah.
So I want them to invest in some of my deals. I want that. These are people who they get it. They get that the money system's effed up. And that's kind of part of the reasons why they're involved in crypto. And they want to get part of something that's more solid, something tangible like real estate, right? So I'm a fan of that part because I think it's probably easier, in my opinion, to maybe move the crypto folks into real estate than it is to get the real estate, graybeards into crypto.
Mhm.
So I'd like to figure that out a bit more. But no, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the future. I'm a dude. I'm all in on crypto. I think it's so cool. I think it's just exciting. It's just something new. I'm a big fan of mostly like Ethereum because I like that that's like the settlement layer for everything. And it's, there's so many applications that people are building on and they're going from, and because I'm a big fan of like what they do with the staking, where you can literally take your Ethereum or a lot of different crypto money, you can stake it, and literally you're getting 5 to 6% on your money on this, on this Ethereum. And this Ethereum, guys, is money. It really is. When you're buying something like an NFT, which is like, the new hotness, they base it in Ethereum. That's what they base it in. It's not USD. They don't base it on BTC or Bitcoin. They base it when you're buying something on like an OpenSea on your Ethereum. So it's just it's something that I'm going to definitely keep making sure I'm paying attention to, but it's certainly a learning curve for anyone that's just starting out.
Yeah, something else that intrigues me, dude, and you talked about it a little bit already with the NFTs piece, but like I'm starting to hear it's starting to bubble up, dude, this whole virtual real estate piece, dude. And I'm just picturing, I know that's like a whole nother conversation and realm, dude, but like I'm picturing setting up these NFTs that somehow cash flow and people are paying to use it or something like that, dude. I'm totally just out there in the cloud right now, but like I'm
Love it.
again, dude, I've got that 20-mile down the road view. Like I think that we're going to see some way to buy, virtual, I'm going to put in quotations, virtual real estate that somehow cash flows and has some type of NFT incorporation into it, dude. But I'm just excited, dude. I think it has so much potential in the space and who knows what it could look at. But like I said, dude, I truly believe that some form of digital currency is going to be the future, and I'm going to want to be a part of that. So I'm learning
I want to be a
just
part of
like
that.
you are.
I want to
Yeah.
be a part of that too. And on that topic of like the Decentraland or the Sandbox, these
Yeah.
metaverse communities,
Yeah.
right? My buddy, he's an HR director at Foundry, which is like a Bitcoin mining company. They're one of the first companies that are doing interviews through the metaverse. So he's literally having to interview people through the metaverse. So this shit ain't going away. Because you think about it, this is some of the people's lives. This is where you're going to find those engineers. This is where you're going to find those, people that are like tapped in on this like bloodline of crypto. They're going to be hanging out here regardless. So if you're looking for talent, right, and this is the new world, well, you might as well go where they are. And you're right. I think there is going to be something where it's like, hey, rent this XYZ
Yeah.
and start making passive Ethereum because you
Yeah.
bought XYZ in this town and they're using it. Dude, I mean, wow, that is good. I guess I didn't think of it like that, but you're right. I can definitely see that coming. And how fun would that be if all of a sudden you open up your MetaMask and all of a sudden you got, a quarter of an Ethereum because somebody, had a party at one of your, NFT homes.
Dude, 100%. And this could be, I don't know, dude, this could be years, a decade away, whatever. But dude, I'm seeing this in the distance. There's going to be some form, in my opinion, like some form of cash flowing Ethereum, NFT, or whatever, dude, that gets worked into this metaverse piece. And like, it would just be cool, dude, buying whatever. I call it virtual real estate. There's probably 100 different names for it, but whatever that is, dude, where it's cash flowing Ethereum and you're owning that and people are going to use that service, dude. It's on the horizon, dude. I want to be a part of that because I truly think
I
that's going to
do.
be successful, dude. Yeah.
I do too. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about because I know you're the, student housing guru is, I'm thinking back to my college years. Damn, I was a bad tenant, and I know a lot of other people were in my house that were too. So look at me as a skeptic, right? I'm a skeptic right now, and I'm talking to you, and you can even just say, you know what? That's why we moved on to something different. But okay, so tell me about student housing. Was it something that you think? Because I'm coming in with a negative mindset because I just know how bad I was. Is
Yeah.
it not that bad, or is it, hey, there's a lot of money to be made, but like, what would you say to someone who's like, student housing? Would you say, yeah, it's great, or would you say, this is kind of why we moved on?
No, dude, I would say student housing is one of the most lucrative niches out there. I think that people overlook, and I'll break it down, why for the audience, dude. So
Love it. Go
that
ahead.
that that first deal, dude, and really every deal since then, and I'll give a deal we're looking at right now up here in Washington, but back in New York, dude, in Albany, when we bought that first deal in 2015, it was a duplex. It was 4 bedrooms upstairs, 4 downstairs. It was a 4-1, 4 bed, 1 bath. And the prior slumlord was renting it for $1,000 a month per unit. And we took it over, dude. We renovated it. We put stainless steel appliances in there. We put the things that you wouldn't expect to see in a college house. We wanted to stand out to these tenants. We wanted to attract high quality tenants, dude. We didn't want people who are going to destroy our house. And because we're putting stainless steel appliances in there, dude, we said, we're not going to rent this $1,000 a unit. We're going to rent this $500 a bed. And we executed that model, over and over, where we buy these properties from these slumlords that didn't do shit for the properties, rip the money out of them, rip the tenants off. We put the money back in, and then we doubled the gross revenue literally in year one by taking a unit, renting for $1,000 a unit, and rent it for $500 a bed. In those 4-bed, 1-baths, we are now collecting $2,000 a month.
Woo!
So it's lucrative, dude. But I'll tell you this, we deal with a lot of bullshit and stuff like that, man. But I'll tell you, I'm curious your thoughts on this too, dude. But I'll tell you, when you invest money into that property, the stainless steel appliances, the nice kitchens or whatever, the other renovations we did, those tenants, man, those college kids, yeah, they're still in there partying, but like they have buy-in to the property now. They have pride in living there, and they don't go out, dude. They're not smashing windows. Kids aren't putting holes in our walls, dude, because we're handing them a product that's very nice. It's very high quality. It's above the industry standards significantly. And now they have buy-in to keep that product nice. They have pride of living, dude. They're like, wow, this place is so nice. Like I'm at, my buddy's place last night partying, and there's holes in the walls. There's rats everywhere. The floor's rotting. That's a slumlord. They don't give a shit about that. But here, with the Fuchsia's properties, it's a Class A product. I have pride in living here, dude. And I just want to end on this one note here. So I'm up here in Washington right now, and specifically Tacoma, Washington sits on a peninsula, and there's several private schools up here, and there's no room for them to build more student housing for these college kids. And the college kids up here are paying $1,300 a month for one bed.
Whoa!
So right now, dude, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So we're up here, dude, looking for these opportunities, executing that same business model where we're coming across, it's not $1,000 a unit, it's like $2,500 a unit for a 4-bed, 1-bath. But we're taking that $2,500 a unit, dude, and we're flipping it, and we're renting it for $1,200 a bed. Per month, again, doubling that gross revenue. So there's opportunity in the space, dude, but just like anything, you got to do it right. If you're gonna be the slumlord, you're gonna get slumlord tenants, slumlord results. You go in there with the right mindset, put money back into the property, take care of those tenants. It can be pretty lucrative, dude. But I want to hear about Marty Grzanti.
Well, let me just say, producer, go back to whatever this time was. I think it's about we're about 28 minutes in. So that 28th minute, I want to really chop that up because that's a awesome clip. No, seriously, Jesse, that's really good because you're right. I think the win that you guys have is that you have people with the mindset I just told you about. And so that's why they're missing this niche and why you guys are capitalizing on this niche is because they have their own experiences with a slumlord type college rental, right? And everybody sees these on the movies and the TV, everything. Yeah. So, and they've had their own maybe experience. And so that's why they are shying away from it while you actually put a beautiful 180 spin on it because you pour into it, which attracts those probably more affluent, I'm not going to judge, but probably women and I'm sure just higher level professional students that are really, maybe going to be scientists, like some of like the top level kind of folks, right? Where, they went to the party, but you ain't coming over their house to party, right? That's really good. And you just changed my opinion. I'll invest with you guys. Let's go.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, I think, dude, it's just like anything, man. You do it right. It could be the same thing in mobile home parks, dude, self-storage, flips, dude, or whatever. If you do it right, there's always going to be an opportunity there. And we're those types of people, man. We want to do it right. We're not here just for the dollar. We want to help these tenants out. These are great tenants. We want to provide a product, dude. And it goes to show, man, we have a waiting list out the door and around the corner. Like we have people texting us nonstop, and we're at 100% occupancy, 100% collections. Universities go remote during COVID. Everyone freaks out, dude. Tenants are still paying because, again, we're attracting that higher quality tenant, dude. It's that higher quality tenant. It's probably got a higher quality parent. Many times in student housing, parents are paying for the kids. we're having no issues, dude, because it all starts with that product that we supply. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and those parents are happy to pay the money then because they know it's
Yeah.
high quality, right? And so
Yeah.
they'll be happy to do so. So how like so walk me through that. So they is it pretty much no doubt about it, you're getting the parents to co-sign basically on the lease? Is that it's like a no-brainer and you're basically not even are you saying, "Hey, student, love you, but we're going after your parents' ACH. We need that to be automatically clearinghoused into our account." Like is that kind of how that works?
Yeah, I think with a lot of the tenants, the parents co-sign just because of where they're at financially and whatnot. But again, I think that's like an advantage in itself that you can leverage the student housing. And my father will show you too, like a lot of these parents, they come to move, their kids in whatever the fall time frame, they move them out in the spring. And even the parents are like, holy shit, like this is way nicer than where I lived in college, dude. And these parents, my father's got text message calls like, Vince, like, thank you for letting my child live here. Like, he or she's living in a safe, secure, clean place. I don't have to worry, dude. I mean, some of the things we do, dude, our properties have security systems on it. Like,
Mm.
theft is a big deal in student housing. And we mitigate that. We prevent that, dude. The parents love that, dude. I
I
mean,
bet.
it makes it's highly profitable, dude. If you do it right, it's a lucrative niche. And the greatest thing is, dude, education's not going anywhere. Like there's always going to be universities, dude. There's always going to be college kids, just like you and I, dude. I wanted to live off campus. Nobody wants to live in the dorms, dude. There's always going to be demand for that off-campus housing, and it's a
So
lucrative niche
true.
for investors if they find that niche. So.
No, and you guys did, and I'm like I said, I'm sold again. And you guys are doing it the right way, and so that's why it's a no-brainer to work with people like you who are going to do it the right way from, start to finish. I got to ask you a question, because I can tell you're obsessed. What is wrong with you? What is it? Why are we sick? What do you think it is that gives you the burning desire? I can just sense you have a freaking burning desire. Was it because you didn't have a lot of confidence in high school? Because I think that's what it was for me. I didn't have a ton of confidence maybe in my early years. So I wanted to figure that out. But for you, what was it? Like, why are you obsessed? Why do you have a brain desire that you need to be successful? Why?
Yeah, I think it started, much like you, beginning years of my life or whatnot, dude. It's just been like, what is the biggest obstacle or what is the hardest thing I can do, dude? In high school, it was I want to be a wrestler, dude, because nobody else wants to be a wrestler.
Is that
Nobody
why you
wants to
wanted to
cut
be a
that line.
wrestler literally though? Is because it was just nobody
Yeah,
wanted to
dude,
do it?
I'm sick, dude. I am sick. I need to go to a doctor, dude. Like literally, I loved like being in there, like cutting weight, like being able to do things that others cannot do, dude. Like I love that, and it fed into my military career, dude. Going to Ranger School and doing all those things. Like I'm sick, dude. I love watching people quit. I'm sorry. Maybe edit that out, dude. But there's
Love
something
it.
about being at Ranger School, dude, and somebody raising their hand, like telling the instructor, like, hey, I'm throwing this, like, I'm good. I'm going to voluntarily withdraw. Like, dude, that's when I start pushing harder, dude, because I just love watching people quit, dude. It's like pouring gas on the fire. And it's that same in real estate, dude, because it's a competitive market, dude. Everybody talks how competitive it is. And people are, they start out, maybe they get one or two, dude, but they can't do it long term, or it turns out just not being for them, dude. And I love talking off market stuff. And I know like you're an acquisitions master, dude. We talked it on my episode when I interviewed you, dude. But when I look at off-market hunting, dude, I can phrase it in one sentence: be willing to do what others are not, man. People
Right.
don't like cold calling. People don't like knocking on the doors and confronting owners. Hey, have you ever thought about selling? It's awkward for people, man. But the
Right.
guys that are willing to do it get those opportunities. They get those seller financing deals. They get those deals that aren't taken by the broker and shot to 10,000 people on Crexy and LoopNet and all that other bullshit. Um, but dude, no, I love it, dude. I'm sick. I love
You are
watching people
sick.
quit.
You are sick.
Yeah, I love watching people quit, dude.
I
So
love when you said that because immediately I thought about David Goggins when he says, he's taking souls.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? When he's running by people and he's just taking their soul, and that gives him motivation, and it does for me too. I got a thought about things. As you were talking about like off market, and you and I, we both are fiends for off market deals because that's where you can really get some juicy, delicious deals. And I think that it's not competitive. I think it's just that people are overpaying consistently. So, yes, is it competitive in that sense? I do. But for the people who are making it a habit to target off market deals, to target and talk to sellers from, directly and not through a broker, I don't think it's very competitive. I really don't. I just think that once something hits the market, there's a lot of people that are willing to overpay, and that's not me, and I know that's not you. My thought, and I think what's going to happen is there's so much of this, podcast world now where there's a ton of gurus, and rightfully so. These people know what they're talking about. I believe that. I think 90% of them, 99% probably know what they're talking about. But what I'm finding, what I think I'm seeing is that there's a lot of people who may be joining these masterminds, or maybe this might be just a limiting belief. It could this and tell me if you think that, actually that's what I want you to do, Jesse. I want you to tell me if this you think this is a limiting belief and you think there's just opportunity everywhere where everybody can win. But I think that there are so many people who, because they're listening to a Michael Blanc, or they're listening to a Jake and Gino, or they're listening to a Fairless, and they go, I'm going to do a deal, and they are razor thin margins, and it may not even be cash flowing, and they do a deal just to do a deal, so that when they go to those meetups, and they can say, yeah, we took down a 70 unit apartment building in Denver. And I think with this correction where we both know we're headed, they're going to be in trouble, and more importantly, the investors that put money into these deals are going to be in trouble. What do you think?
Dude, I agree with all that, dude. I think that you get these investors, and I see it all the time. And I'm using the market. You use Denver. I'll use an example of Dallas Fort Worth right now, where these people are literally paying sub four caps for some of these deals, bro. It's like, hey, man, we just took down 100 unit in Dallas Fort Worth. It comes in at a 4.1 cap. Dude, what are you celebrating right now? Like, I want to. I don't know if I would tell people that, dude. Like, do you know how
Yeah.
thin safety of margin that is for you and your entire team and your investors to take down a deal with that much leverage at where we're at in this market cycle at that price point, dude, at a 4.1 cap? Like, granted, I mean, some of these guys probably have millions of dollars in reserves and maybe are just doing it at this point to do it. But, dude, I don't know what you're celebrating for. I mean, we talked about in the beginning of the show, dude, how much money was printed during COVID, the stimulus that is charging this economy. And the secret's out, dude. The Fed is openly saying we're raising rates. Inflation is at 8.5%. This cannot go on. Like, there is no absolute sane way for this to continue the way it is. And what I encourage people to look at, and if you haven't, dude, you should do this. Like, look at a span of the S&P 500 over the last 30 years. Like 90s, it's pretty flat. 2000s, '08, it dips a little bit, goes back up, dude. And literally from like 2020 on, it does a steep, dude, straight vertical line up. The economy, in my opinion, it's just grossly inflated right now. And people have no idea, dude. People are out there paying insane cap rates. And I don't know, dude. I might do 2 deals this year. I might do 3 deals this year. But I'm not going to do a dozen deals just to do deals and tell people and post about it on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, dude. Again, for the people out there taking down 4 caps and in those primary markets, good on you, dude. It's just not the returns that I'm looking for my investors. So
I love that. And it's so true. And I think I had to take a step back, Jesse, because I am a deal junkie. I had to take a step back and say, bro, it's not about the amount of deals. It's about the when you do a deal, have it make a ton of sense. Like it does. If you could do 10 mad deals and you could do one really good deal, and those 10 mad deals are going to take that one deal down with them. Like,
yeah,
why not look for the home run? No one, like, it's such this game is so funny because we always are on Instagram and we see all the people that are posting the deals that they're doing. And so we think that this is something that happens every day. It doesn't. These are really tough to do. So for the people listening, this is not simple. I mean, I should say this. It can be simple, but I really believe that getting the right deal is very, very difficult. So if it takes you 2 to 3 years to get your first deal, I don't think you're alone there. And I think you should be willing to take that punch to the face over and over again to get there. Because, one of the things that I thought was really cool is you were talking to that Charlie Dobbins guy, nice guy.
That's his name.
And
Yeah.
he said a quote that was pretty good. He said, success is a bad teacher. So when we have success and we do a deal and it goes right, you don't really learn a lot. That's why I really like to be around people who've been through multiple cycles. Like I like talking to
Yeah.
guys who've, right? I like talking to guys who were doing deals in like the 80s so they can tell me about the shit that went down in like 88 and then, how high interest rates were back then. And then talk about, after 9/11 and then talk about the Great Recession. Like that stuff's interesting to me because between you and me, you can't do a bad deal right now for the last 7 to 10 years. Like you just can't. If you bought in Dallas in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
Yeah.
20, you were going to make money no matter what happened. But yeah, I just think I just think that it's interesting to think about, hey guys, the the ride is coming to an end soon and you gotta be ready for that, man. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, Jesse. I
Yeah,
don't.
no, I agree with you, dude. And just to kind of like cap off that piece, like a lot of these guys are underwriting these deals. And in 2013, 14, 15, like predicting, a 3 to 5% rent growth in your underwriting was a very safe thing to do. Where we were at in the market cycle, it made sense. And it really, I mean, Dallas Fort Worth, I mean, did even performed even higher than that. It's amazing. But the people right now who are underwriting deals and saying, oh, yeah, I can make this refinance period, I can make this balloon period on this loan because I'm predicting a 5% rent growth for the next 3 to 5 years, dude. Those are the guys when loans come, here in the next, who knows, 6, 12, 18, 24 months as rates keep going higher and higher. Those are the dudes that are going to run into some issues. Those people were continuing to think that rate or rents are just going to continue to grow at the rate that we've seen over the last 7 or 8 years. It's impossible. It can't
It's
happen.
impossible. It's impossible. Who's doing that? But here's the other thing that you were saying that is scary is that we have this inflation that's at 8.5%, and we also have a a slowing. I don't know if it's a slowing economy, but the Fed's in this position where you either have to print more money to keep us going into recession because that's where we're headed, but that's not going to help the inflation because if we're printing more money, the inflation's going to increase. So, but if you don't, right, then we're going to go through a recession. So you're in this horrible spot where it's like well, to get us from going into a recession, we need to print money, but if we print money, our inflation's going to go up, right? But we're headed to a recession. So, and we are not in a position where back in 2009, 2010, where you could print money because our inflation was so low. So, any thoughts on maybe that's why people are moving towards a Bitcoin kind of idea? Because who trusts the dollar at this point? It's being so manipulated by the Fed and so manipulated by the government.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And I love, and you brought this point up, I think it's so important to discuss with and, invest with, speak with mentors who are invested through multiple cycles. And I've interviewed several people who've lost their shirts in 2008 to 10 and are now back on, doing very well and have learned those lessons and have, tens of millions of dollars assets under management. And the biggest thing that they bring up is in 2008, there was a massive issue with the system where, someone who worked at McDonald's was getting approved for $1 million loan with 0% down on a home that they couldn't, no way could cover the debt service on. And I had several, again, these people I've interviewed were in that period. They were getting these loans. They lost their shirts. We don't have that same issue now, but I think it's a different type of issue with this inflation. Again, we just saw how much stimulus was injected into the economy has never been done before in US history, world history, national, whatever history. It's never been done, dude. And I think it is. I think people are probably losing some faith in the dollar and what could happen now. It could be very intriguing. Could the dollar default? I don't know, dude. I think when I look at the macro level, there's so many things that are dependent on the US dollar. Oil is traded in dollars. There's several different factors, but I definitely think that where we're heading, there has to be some form of a correction. This can't go on forever, and eventually the music's going to stop, and there are going to be people still standing with nowhere to sit down, and there's going to be the people who, again, who are not being due diligent on their underwriting, aren't being strict. It's going to be those people, I think, who run into some trouble here, and then there'll be, whenever there's blood in the streets, there'll be opportunity for guys like you and I say, hey, we'll take these off your hand. We're not going to pay what you
You're
paid for
right.
it, but
You're
yeah.
right. That's the truth. And sadly, there's going to be a lot of for sale signs, and I think there's going to be a ton of bank taking back
Yeah.
large properties, right? And here's a thought, because I've started to kind of think, and what are your thoughts on this? I've because we manage our own properties. Do you manage your own properties?
Yeah, dude, the student housing is managed in house by like my father and my brothers, and yeah,
And you?
yeah,
Yeah. So, geez, man, I'll tell you, we've been doing it since 2015, and it's so management intensive because we manage our own stuff, and we have some, affordable housing stuff, and so and I'm sure it's kind of similar to the fact that where it's full contact. You get a lot of people who are just texting you, or they're texting the office, and there's issues, right? And I kind of wish I had a management third party, but I'm also glad that I'm doing it because we've learned when we do give this up, what we're paying for, right? When we do hire third party management. What are your thoughts on management? Do you have not a big problem with it? Are you guys like, it's just part of the deal, like no worries there? Because I've been thinking like how much simpler life would be if we started moving into what I think is my next area, which is retail and working with businesses. I don't think I'm capable of doing anymore with human beings and working with tenants that are human. I want to deal with businesses. What's your take on all that?
yeah. I think there's a couple of ways to look at it, and we're knee deep in this issue right now. And I have this conversation every day with my father that you know there's it's very time consuming. It bogs down your time, dude. And time is our most valuable asset. When you're there dealing with these tenant issues, these property issues, it's time taken away from acquisitions, from investor relations, from expanding and doing what I would consider the $1,000 an hour tasks. Finding a new deal, that's $1,000 an hour task. Connecting with an accredited investor, that's $1,000 an hour task. Fixing a broken window or whatever, that's a $5 an hour task, and that's what we're getting bogged down with. So people out there that are in that similar situation, you've got to put a value on your time. Where can your time be the most, applicable? Where can it grow the business the most? Maybe it is, being hands-on and managing, or maybe it's someone like me. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I love connecting with investors. I connect with several accredited investors. I love bringing them opportunities and whatnot. And in my mind, that's $1,000 an hour tasks. If I can, raise capital from several accredited investors, like that's a big deal. That can help our business grow tenfold. That can bring even more and new opportunities to the business. So, I would tell people put a value on your time and figure that piece out and what that is. If you want to manage in house, if you don't, I agree with you. I think there's so many things that can be learned from, especially in the beginning, managing in house and learning all those amazing steps of being a landlord. But eventually, you've got to grow. In my opinion, at least, you got to grow beyond that and really put value on your time, dude. I love the idea of retail too. I see myself even 5, 10 years from now, just literally being a triple net lease guy who literally just covers the taxes and the debt service, and everything else is paid for by the tenant. It's, to me, that is literally mailbox money, the most passive. So
100%, dude. The longer I think people deal with tenants that are humans, the more you're licking your chops for like a triple net lease deal where it's just get me out of management. I give a ton of credit, and maybe it's because we don't have our systems right, and I can tell you that is a little bit of it is where we are very human, where we need to be more automated. So that's a gift and a curse because I feel like we are the best landlords in Rochester, but at the same time, hey, you can be the best landlord in Rochester, but you're gonna burn out, and you can't do that, right? If you want to be long standing and successful. Here's something I want to talk about because you're talking about, hey, the value of time is, and I'm with you 1,000%. It's critical. Your your LinkedIn game's out of control. Tell me about what your theory and your thesis is on LinkedIn. Like, how do you approach LinkedIn? Do you think that is the social media that people need to be spending their time on? Forget TikTok, forget Instagram. And I feel like you're all in on LinkedIn. I don't know why. I have that feeling. And also, how are you reaching out to accredited investors?
Yeah, dude. So this is something, a journey that started literally like October, November of 2021, whatever, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. Started posting on LinkedIn. And I started looking at all the real estate people on LinkedIn. And there's your typical syndicators. Like all the syndicators are on there, the industry experts and whatnot. But I was like, man, these real estate guys are on here, but no one's getting like, 100 likes or 200 or 1,000 like some of these like SaaS marketers are getting on there, because LinkedIn has a lot of marketers on it. There's like a massive community of them. And I started following a couple of them. A couple of them have courses on how to grow on LinkedIn. And I was like, man, nobody takes what these guys are doing and applies it to real estate and connecting with investors and whatnot. So basically, I follow a gentleman. His name's Justin Welsh. He's on there, a very successful marketer. Was a corporate dropout. He grew a massive business in LA to, I think it was like $50 million a year. And then he dropped out, and now he literally just makes a ton of money every month selling his courses on LinkedIn. So basically, I took his course. I began implementing his kind of the way he posts, applying the content to real estate and meeting new investors, talking about the benefits of real estate. And just over the course, I'll give you an idea. In the last 90 days, I've grown from 1,000 followers to 7,000 followers.
That's
And I've
unbelievable.
probably, yeah, dude, but that's not even like half of it, dude. I've probably had, I don't even know it, dude. I've lost count. I'm going to tell you 100. It could be 150. It could be like 200 phone calls with people who have DM'd me. Jesse, I follow your content. I had no idea you could passively invest in real estate. I thought the only way was to be like an active landlord. Listen, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I don't have that time. I want to invest with you though. Like, bring me, your next mobile home park deal or your next RV
Wow,
park
let's
deal.
go.
Dude,
Let's
I've
go.
had I've had dozen of these phone calls by just posting on LinkedIn. But this can apply to so much more than real estate. If you're a crypto guy, there are crypto people on there. You can just post content and get people to engage with you and build a voice on LinkedIn, dude, because it's so powerful. LinkedIn, and the backstory to the platform for people out there who don't know, it was purchased by Microsoft a few years ago. I think it has like 800 million world users, like 150 million who are in the US alone, or maybe it's 100 million. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's a massive platform. People don't understand the power of it, and they view LinkedIn as like, hey, I'm going to post my resume on my profile, dude. Like that's not my headline. My headline is I help busy professionals build passive income. And really, in real estate. I'm helping people grow passive income by investing in our opportunities, dude. But it's only been 6 months, dude. I think by the end of 2022, I'll be at like 20,000 followers or something like that. I've
I
gone
know
from
you
one
will.
to seven. Yeah, I've gone from 1 to 7 in 90 days, dude. I think I'll be at north of 20 by the end of this year. So
That's boss. Love it, guys. Dropping bombs. Jesse Fuchsia. Yeah, it's really is, I think, the place to market yourself. And I think a lot of people maybe shy away from that one because it's quote unquote like the professional, place
yeah,
to, but I think that's where you want to be the most open. People are so sick and tired of like the just, I guess, like the straight edge and the, hey, here am I, I'm doing this and that. No, it's like, tell me about your life. Tell me about like what you can do for me. I think LinkedIn's like a very hey, let me show you what I'm doing. And I think that's good, but then you got to say, here's what I can do for you. And that's what you do in your posts. It's very
yeah.
engaging. It's a very like engaging, like, hey, it's something where you're like sucking in the audience, and I know you are because you're doing it's a lot of back and forth with your comments, and then all of a sudden when you're doing stuff like that, people are like, oh, it's a real fucking guy. It's like a real dude. It's like a guy that drinks beers on a Friday night with his boy Marty as they're shooting shit about crypto and real estate. Like that's the kind of people I want
Yeah.
to work with, right? So yeah, no, I'm a big fan of what you're putting together, man, and I think the sky's the limit for you. I mean, you're a young dude, hungry as hell. I mean, you're in Tacoma for crying out loud, looking at real estate deals. I mean, where did Tacoma even come from for you?
Yeah, dude. So for everybody that doesn't know, we've talked a little bit about my military career. I'm still active duty military, dude. I have a W-2 on top of all of this, dude. So this will probably be my last stop in the Army. I'll probably get out and transition and do real estate full time here within the next few years because that's kind of just the direction my life is going in, dude. But yeah, man, this has been a blessing, dude. It's been a blast. I'm having fun the entire way. It's been great lessons, dude. I get to chat with people like you. And you know what, dude, I just got to say this. When I think of Rochester real estate, dude, I think of two guys, Marty Grisanti and Jeff Cook, man. And they're two titans of the game. I'm going to put those names literally on the same level right next to each other, dude. I'm
They're
a
right.
huge Jeff.
We're right here. Me and Jeff Cook are literally seeing each other eye to eye. No, Jeff Cook's an absolute titan. The
Yes.
number
Yes.
one owner of mobile home parks in New York State, and I uh, I definitely to be even in the same room as Jeff is always fun because he is an absolute genius when it comes to real estate. But maybe one day. Actually, I know one day. I want to be cognizant of Jesse's time. We did about an hour. We had a great time. We were drinking beers, but I know he's got a lot going on. I think it's only like 4 o'clock there, so he's probably not even done with work yet. Jesse, I appreciate you. You are an awesome dude. You are a buddy of mine now, and I know the sky's the limit for you and your company, and I can't wait to see what you do next, buddy.
Yeah, Marty, blessing, dude, being on here with you. For everybody out there listening, I'm huge on LinkedIn. My name will be obviously on the episode in the show notes.
Yeah,
Connect
where
with
can
me,
they find you,
dude.
Jesse? Where can they find you? What's the best way? Is it LinkedIn? I mean, can they read?
Dude,
Where can they read? Hey guys, by the way, Wealth Science is I know I said at the beginning, but it's an incredible podcast. I started re-listening to it because I obviously I have them in my Rolodex of different podcasts I like to listen to, but Jesse gets on some really, really good guests. And if you like a good mix of not just real estate, but crypto, about, just business, about just I really think this is a really solid podcast, and it's just he does a really nice job of making people feel comfortable, and he does a really good job of interviewing. Obviously, I'm in the bag at this point, so maybe I've been a little slippery and sloppy on my wordplay, but as I'm trying my hardest. But if you want real professionals, talk to Jesse and go on Wealth Science podcast. Where else can
dude,
they?
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's a great show, and I've had you on there, dude. Check out that episode. We literally deep dive off market hunting acquisitions. If you're that dude that's trying to get started and don't know where to start, dude, check out Marty's episode. It was fire. And connect with me on LinkedIn. And I bring that up because like DM me, dude, reach out, get on a call with me. I don't care if you're some brand new guy looking, to get your first deal. You're a accredited investor looking to invest, dude. I pride myself that I give everybody 30 minutes of my time. I
Man,
don't care if you're brand new or been doing this for 40 years. So many people, Marty, have given me their time on this
yeah,
journey
agreed. You're
over
right.
the last few years, dude. I don't care 40 years from now, dude. Who knows what the portfolio of Ethereum or real estate's going to look at, dude. I'm still going to give that 20-year-old kid 30 minutes of my
I
time
love
because so many
that.
of those guys have given mine. So the only reason I bring that up, connect with me, DM me. You just want to chat for 30 minutes, dude, I'll do it. So let's connect on LinkedIn. But yeah, hit me up.
Boom, guys, girls. Thanks for tuning in. That was Jesse Fuchsia. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you guys soon.